what is going on in the boardrooms at Disney? I've got to ask this question because this film, Strange World, 15.8 million. That's what it's brought in so far. And depending on where you go to research this, it took between 135 million, 160 million. Let's say it took 200 million to make this flop of the film. I mean, this sucker stinks. It has sunk quicker than a stone. And this is supposed to be one of their longest feature films. So if you go over to Breitbart, they tell you all this, how much it took to make the film. But it also took an additional 50 to 100 million to promote the thing. And I'm going to read you some of the reviews at Rotten Tomatoes. And over at the Daily Beast, oh, this is so funny. This is so classic. They're skating around the issue in this lengthy article of why, they're trying to explain to you why this film failed. Oh, I don't know, Daily Beast. Could it be because people don't want to be preached at from the silver screen? Now, I could just picture, just work with me here, folks. I could just picture one of these boardrooms at Disney, and you got one of these Disney execs, and there's little Johnny, the scriptwriter, in the corner. Now, Johnny, you got to make this the most woke film ever. I want tickets, I want receipts like we have with The Lion King. I want quadruple the tickets and receipts we have with Lion King. But you got to make this the wokest, gayest, most transgender, green-friendly film ever. And I want you to paint all of those right-wingers, those evil Republicans, those Bible-thumping, gun-loving, backward, redneck, moonshine-drinking retrobates. I want you to create a character that is evil incarnate based on those backward, evil, Bible-thumping, gun-loving, moonshine-drinking retrobates. But you think it's going to sell? Of course it's going to sell, son. You got to make it the most woke film ever. And you got to include non-binary. We must have non-binary. Actually, scratch that. We just had the shooting at Club Q. So let's go over to Rotten Tomatoes. Because I believe this had like a 36% favorable rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And there's a lot of buts on Rotten Tomatoes about this film. And I'm not going to mention any names to protect the guilty, as we do here on the channel. So somebody writes here, Strange World is painfully mediocre, but it goes back to classic action-adventure Disney days. Think Atlantis and Treasure Planet. Wondrously vibrant and grand with great voice work, the world building and overall takeaways save it from being a flop. Even though it only had a 36% approval rating here on Rotten Tomatoes and only brought in 15.8 million. Well, at least it brought in more than Bros did. You remember Bros, a film where the producer, the writer, was getting all mad, had his panties in a wad, was on TV, wailing his arms about, saying, this is our day now in the LGBTQ community. And he was mad because these people were down in Georgia making fun of this poster at this theater that showed some guy with his hand on another guy's butt. Let me take a sip of my coffee here. Another one, take video tonight. Actually doing this on the overnight shift again. And I remembered my tripod. So somebody else said here, Amazing color palette and scenic design, but the characters and story were a bit flat, you think, in a been there, done that way. These people have no originality. You know what'd be really cool is if Disney did like a Pink Panther type film. In an animated version where there's like a jewelry heist. That would be cool. And maybe a kidnapping. Something along the lines of the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew, they pair up. Maybe a little international espionage. That would be cool. Do you see that's called creativity? That's what made 007, James Bond, so popular. Because they were great films, just like Dr. Zhivago, The Lion King, Lawrence of Arabia, Gone with the Wind. There's been a big stink about, Gone with the Wind, it was such a racist film. Have you ever watched Gone with the Wind? It's actually a pretty good film. Did I say Gone with the Wind? It's kind of like Carol Burnett and Went with the Wind, where she comes down the stairs, she's wearing the dress that she got, it looks like a curtain rod, I just couldn't resist, it was in the window. One of the best skits ever. One of the best spoofs on that movie. So amazing color palette, scenic design, but the characters and story were a bit flat. Been there, done that. Doesn't work on both adult and kid levels. Like a lot of modern animation, it strictly is for kiddies only. Look for the toys this Xmas. Which reminds me, have you seen this clip that's out there about Drag Queen Story Hour? Where you got the drag queen that's doing a parody because he's talking about drag queen here being really high. So he's doing a parody to The Wheels Go Round and Round. The wheels on the bus go round and round. Yeah. When you know we're up against that, we're in trouble. But what about The Lion King and Snow White, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland? One of my favorite films is Alice in Wonderland. I think what did in for Disney is when they started going to Pixar, or I know Pixar is what a sub company, whatever you call it, of Disney. Where they were, I can't remember. But I think when they started doing all these films outside of like maybe Shrek or something like that, wasn't Shrek part of Pixar? Well, when they started doing all these non-animated films, like they had with Snow White, The Lion King, you name it, I think things went downhill from there. Except for maybe Toy Story. So somebody else writes here at Rotten Tomatoes, the film that only got about 36% approval, with a B rating. The look of the film was brilliant with a positively Disney-esque story, but still has a little bit of a spark missing. Tries so desperately to tick so many message boxes about the environment, teen sexuality, the responsibilities of fatherhood, and plenty more that it ends up, if not as an absolute mess, that only vaguely coherent. This is like that train wreck by Leonard Bernstein. What was that? It was like one of his final Broadway shows he did, or musicals he wrote. Ever wanted Disney to make another movie like Treasure Planet? Well, here it is. Another flawed but still decent sci-fi adventure. While threading through familiar territory, manages to entertain with several exciting sequences and charming characters. So somebody liked it. The animation's great. Here's another but boring characters, a lackluster screenplay, and a distracting lack of uniqueness keep Strange World from being another modern Disney classic. So much of Strange World's audaciousness is front-loaded in its concept, and so little of it comes through in the execution. Why isn't this an out-and-out recommendation? It nearly merits that, but the tangled, here's another but the tangled environmental allergy winds up being winds up being a royal headache. Wins. There you go. That environmental allegory winds up being a royal headache. Now somebody's really laying on thick here. By the time the end credits roll, Strange World has established itself as an exciting adventure film that values its characters' driven messages just as much as the action. Strange World is diverting mid-level mouse house fare. But it is funny to see the Daily Beast rally around this film and skirt the issue of why the film didn't do so well on its opening weekend. So here's what we should do. We should have a bad film double feature. You go watch Bros, and then you watch Strange World. And then you come out with another film called Strange World Bros. There you go. The sequel. To solve all your world problems. The sequel to Bros and to Strange World. Strange World Bros. Saving the world one queer person at a time. So if you enjoyed the video, I'm having a good time tonight, folks. I don't care. If it's a train wreck on this video, oh well. But if you liked the video, you know what to do. You can also follow me on Instagram, hashtag Jason Composes. Find me at Twitter, Culture Confederacy Twitter. Because this is the Cultural Confederacy, where we talk about great art, music, preserving history, culture, current cultural events, maybe a tinge of politics. You can call this thing what you want. I've said that before. Hey, I'm just a regular guy out here. What do I know? Just a regular guy out here doing this YouTube channel, living the dream, got a regular job, write music in my spare time. But I love coming here, talking with my audience. And thank you again for supporting this thing we call the Culture Confederacy. Honestly, folks, this is the God's honest truth. I would not be here if it weren't for you guys. I would not be here if it weren't for you guys watching the channel. You give me so much hope when I'm feeling like there's nothing I can talk about. What can I do for the channel? There's always something that comes about that I can talk about. And every time I think of my YouTube channel, I think of my audience and think, what am I going to do for my audience next? Because that's the truth. I wouldn't be here without you guys. And I appreciate you subscribing if you've been subscribing. Hey, who knows, right? This thing might explode one day. I'm glad people are getting it. To me, that's the most important thing. You guys are getting the message. You like the videos. It's not supposed to be perfect. That's the whole point of the video of the series. Because when you're writing music, it's not this neatly written note on a page. That's not how music is created or how great art is created. A lot of trial and error. But we got to do better than Strange World. We got to do better than Strange World. So this is the Culture Confederacy saying peace out. Stay safe, everybody. God bless this thing we call the United States. Y'all have a great weekend. Hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving, and I'll catch you next time.